This is Olena. And I'm Isaac.
We're moving to Hawaii! But first,
We're driving from New York City to Seattle
with Smiley, our 9-year-old rescue pitty.
in our Tesla Model 3, equipped for camping.
And we are funding this trip with our Etsy store.
Meaning we are bringing around 50,000 earrings.
And 500 envelopes.
And our label printer.
On this 11-day cross-country road trip.
Subscribe to the Travel Bug Bite today! Hey everyone! We're about to embark on a crazy road trip, 11 days, from New York to Seattle. And we're here to tell you a little bit about the planning process, a little bit about what we've bought to prepare ourselves for the journey. And it's a unique journey because, first of all, we're going in our Tesla Model 3, which makes it slightly more complicated because we have to stop to charge. Over here, there's a button right here, and if you press it, it automatically opens the charging port. And then we're also going to have a roof bag attached to the top of the Tesla, full with stuff. So that'll make it heavier, which will make us have to charge more often. So we're probably going to have, at the most, 200 miles range on the car. We probably will charge more often than that, so I'd say about every 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. We are traveling with our dog, Smiley, so that's good for him, that we have to stop every once in a while. So it's kind of built-in stops for him to and take a walk. If you want to find out more about Teslas and look at our videos about those, there's some links in the description below. And all the things I'm going to talk about, things that we buy preparing for the trip, they'll be in the description below as well. For example, these sheets behind me came with the mattress that I bought. We did a lot of research for mattresses to sleep in the car, except for a couple of stops where we're going to stay at a hotel just for a little bit of a break. Yeah, these sheets came with the mattress. It's from formytesla.com. It's just this guy that makes them. It's 6 inches thick, this mattress. A lot of the other ones are not nearly as thick. But we'll talk about that more in another video. So if you're interested in that, subscribe. You'll see tons more videos about this road trip. Mostly where we're going to be staying is at KOA's, Campgrounds of America. Nice spelling, right? I always thought that was a little bit weird. You can sign up for a membership for them. I think it's like $30, and you get 10% off of all your stays for a year. We definitely already paid for our membership. The great thing about calling KOAs instead of booking online is that there's a lot of restrictions. Sometimes you need like a 2-night minimum. So always call them and they can override that kind of stuff. We were able to get sites with electricity instead too, and that was great. One of the places we booked actually said online that it was fully booked, and they were able to like move some stuff around and find us a spot. So definitely always call them. I should mention that this journey is only taking 11 days and we're in a little bit of a time crunch. We certainly recommend that if you're going to do this similar trip, take maybe even double the amount of time if you really want to spend more time in each place. We're spending an average of 5 or 6, maybe even 6 or 7 hours driving every day. So that only leaves about 4 or 5 hours for exploring. Day 1. The first leg of our journey is going to take us from New York, where we'll be staying at a hotel in Nanuet, all the way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're going to be staying at the KOA in Madison, Pittsburgh Southeast. And that's 359 miles for the first leg of our journey. And with charging, that's going to take about 7 hours. Our Tesla is a standard range Model 3, so it doesn't have the longer battery. It's rated, I think, at 240, but realistically, the most you can get is about 200 or so. They do sell long range versions that can get more like 300. So we are going to have to stop a lot more often than people who have a long range. Again, want to buy a Tesla? Look in the description, and you can get a referral link, and that'll get us both 1,000 supercharging miles. So good for you, good for me. Along that first leg of the journey, we're probably mostly just going to be driving through, visiting a few places that we found on Atlas Obscura. And the next day, we're going to be exploring Pittsburgh a little bit and maybe a little bit of Columbus, Ohio along the way as we make our way to Richmond, Indiana. And we're going to stay at a KOA there. It's called Richmond KOA Holiday. And that leg of the journey is going to be 301 miles and only 5 hours and 17 minutes, so we can have a little bit of extra time exploring Pittsburgh and Columbus. So on second thought, we changed our mind about Richmond on night number 2. So after we go to Pittsburgh, instead of going to Richmond, which is right between Columbus, Ohio, and Chicago, we thought we would explore that area. But after talking to some friends who live in the Great Lakes region, they told us that we would be silly not to go up to the Great Lakes. So we're going to spend that night, instead of Richmond, I canceled that KOA, and we're going to go to St. Joseph, which is very close to South Haven, Michigan, right over the line near South Bend, Indiana. And so we can spend the time on Lake Michigan there. The process wasn't that bad. I did have to pay the $10 deposit for the KOA when I called them, so I didn't get that back. So when we stay in St. Joseph, the great thing about that instead of Richmond is that we are only about 2 or 3 hours from Chicago. So we only have 3 hours the next day that we have to drive. So we can go all up and down the Michigan coast, maybe even as far as Grand Rapids, Michigan, or something like that. Apparently, like even if you drive up the coast, you can't really even see Lake Michigan very well, but who knows? We'll find something cool to do in that area. I've heard South Bend is really cool. Maybe we'll say hi to Mayor Pete. It's tempting to visit every city we've ever heard of, like, oh, I heard that city's cool, and like, you know, see it for an hour, but we are starting to shift our idea to actually spending more time in fewer places. Our third night is going to be in Chicago, Illinois. In Chicago, we're actually going to treat ourselves a little bit. We're going to be staying at a hotel called Virgin Hotels Chicago, and we really like them because they're dog friendly and they let you leave your dog in the hotel while you're out. We're not going to leave him for too long, but at least they allow you to do that so we don't have to put him in a daycare if we just want to go somewhere for a couple of hours. From Chicago, we're going to head to Minneapolis. We're actually going to go through Minneapolis to the northwest corner of the city in Maple Grove, where we're going to stay at Northwest KOA Journey. That leg of the journey from Chicago to Maple Grove is going to run us 8 hours, and it'll be about 432 miles. So that leg of the journey, we're going to have to pretty much be driving most of the day. There's not going to be that much time to explore. Just a quick note, the times that I'm giving are from Tesla's website, according to using my car, the Standard Range Plus Model 3, and according to how much we have to stop and charge. So these are realistic times for if you have a Tesla. You can probably do this faster if you have a gas car. The next leg of the journey is going to take us out of Minneapolis into South Dakota, where we're going to stay in Kennebec, South Dakota for our 5th night. And that's a bit of a long leg too. It's 8 hours and 410 miles. And the tricky part about this is one of the main events. We really want to see Mount Rushmore on the way. And unfortunately, we're going to be driving for 8 hours. So we're probably going to have to get up real early, drive to Mount Rushmore, spend a few hours there, and then continue driving and probably get to Kennebec pretty late. Kennebec is located pretty much smack dab in the middle of South Dakota, a little bit south. And it's right near a supercharger, so that helps a lot. And we're going to wake up the next day, and we're going to get right back in the car, and we are going to head to Buffalo, Wyoming, which is another 8-hour drive, 411 miles. And so 3 days in a row where we're driving 8 hours. But the reason we're doing that is because the day after we stay in Buffalo, we are going to be headed to Yellowstone. And when we get to Yellowstone, we're going to stay for 2 nights there. We haven't quite decided exactly where. We're pretty sure we're going to do the KOA in West Yellowstone, which is, as the title suggests, west of Yellowstone. It's right near the West Gate, and it's a really good route because you can go and explore all the main attractions of Yellowstone. I did a lot of research of different routes you can take, and it sounds like from West Yellowstone you can see the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone, Hayden Valley, West Thumb, Midway Geyser Basin, and of course Old Faithful. And you can do that in all one day in about 147 miles, which should be just about enough for our little Model 3. And luckily this KOA is right next to a supercharger, so we can wake up, charge, go in that loop, come back, charge, go to sleep, wake up, maybe even explore Yellowstone a little bit more, the places we missed. So if you have any suggestions about other places we should go in Yellowstone the next day, definitely leave those in the comments below, because we would love to know some other places to visit, because those are just kind of the really big touristy ones. And because the next day we are only headed to Missoula, Montana. And to get to Missoula, Montana is only a 6-hour drive, so and it's 319 miles. So we will have a little bit of extra time. If we wake up early, we could even be there by 1 p.m. if we wanted to. On our way from Yellowstone to Missoula, Montana, we can explore that last bit of Wyoming and also southwestern Montana. From Missoula, Montana to Seattle is another long haul. It's 9 hours, 481 miles. We're due to stay at a hotel in Seattle for 2 nights before our flight, and we're kind of considering maybe along the way, if we feel like it, we can stop at another KOA and spend a night instead of doing 2 nights in Seattle. But there's a lot we want to do in Seattle, and we want to make sure we had that extra day at the end in case anything comes up during the trip. Who knows, car breaks down, you got to take longer somewhere. So it is nice to have that day at the end, because we do have a deadline to end our trip after those 11 days. And since you made it to the end of the video, the reason why we have such a deadline to get to the end of this trip in Seattle is because We are dropping off that Tesla Model 3 in Tacoma, Washington, going back to Seattle, putting Smiley onto a plane, loading ourselves onto a plane, and flying to Kahului Airport in Maui, where we are going to go to our new home in Kihei, Hawaii, for the foreseeable future. So there it is, we're moving to Hawaii. And of course that means we're going to be posting a lot more awesome travel videos. We've been kind of on a hiatus, as most of the world has been, from traveling, and posting a lot more reviews and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll have much more adventurous videos than we've had over the past couple of years. And to see all those, subscribe to the Travel Bug Bite right down there. Even click that bell icon to be notified whenever we have a new video.